Tom stood near the edge of the training ground, watching in silence. The sky above was a deep purple, with 3 suns casting golden light over the alien world. Tall trees with silver leaves moved slowly in the warm wind. Strange sounds echoed from the forest behind him, but Tom's attention was fixed on the group of tall warriors in front of him. The Varnic were known across the galaxy as one of the strongest warrior races. They were tall, with thick arms, hard faces, and skin that looked like dark stone. They moved with power, each step shaking the ground slightly. They wore simple armor made from metal and bone, and carried long curved weapons on their backs. Tom was not a soldier. He was just a young man from Earth who had joined a peaceful space program as a helper. He didn't expect to come to a warrior planet, but the research team needed someone to help with simple work, and Tom had said yes. Now he stood there, holding a small case of tools, trying not to be noticed. A group of Varnic warriors were training in front of him. They moved in pairs, fighting with great speed and power. One warrior knocked his partner down with a heavy strike. Another did a spinning move and sent dust flying into the air. Tom was amazed by their strength, but he also noticed something strange. They all used the same style. Big movements, full power, no patience. Near the edge of the training ground, a small alien creature ran out from the bushes. It looked scared and lost. It had soft fur, big ears, and tiny hands. It made a high-pitched sound as it ran across the open ground. One of the warriors turned and saw it, with a loud growl. He lifted his hand to strike. Tom didn't think. He just moved. He dropped his tool case and ran forward. The warrior's arm was already coming down fast. Tom stepped between the creature and the warrior. With one quick motion, he raised his hand, grabbed the warrior's wrist, and twisted slightly to the side. At the same time, he stepped with his left foot and turned his body. It was a simple move he had learned in a self-defense class back on Earth. The warrior lost balance and took a step back, his strike broken. For a few seconds, everything was silent. Dust floated in the air. The small creature ran off into the bushes again. Tom stood there, breathing fast, his heart beating in his chest. The warrior looked at him. He was twice Tom's size, with a strong jaw and deep red eyes. He said nothing. Then, slowly, he dropped to one knee. Round the training ground, the other warriors stopped moving. They watched with wide eyes. The tall warrior spoke. "Teach me." Tom blinked. "What? Teach me?" The warrior repeated, louder this time. Tom looked around, confused. He saw the other warriors now walking toward him. Some looked shocked. Others looked curious. Few looked angry, but none of them said anything. The warrior stood up again and took a step closer to Tom. "My name is Kor. I am a war leader. I have trained since I was a child, but I have never seen a move like that. You stopped me with one step. I want to learn." Tom felt nervous. His hands were shaking. He had not meant to start anything. He just didn't want that little creature to get hurt. Now a giant alien was asking him to be a teacher. "I'm not a fighter," Tom said. "But you move with purpose," Kor said. "You did not fear me. You knew where to place your feet and how to move your arm. That is strength." Tom didn't know what to say. A soft voice came from behind. It was one of the Varnic elders, an older woman with gray markings on her face. She walked slowly, but held power in her presence. "The move you use is not from our world," she said. "But it worked. We must understand it." More warriors began to gather. Some nodded. Others crossed their arms. Tom felt like all eyes were on him. Kor pointed to the empty space in the center of the training ground. "Show me again," he said. Tom looked down at his hands. He remembered the self-defense class from years ago. It was nothing special, just a short course in college. But he remembered the feeling of balance and calm. He remembered the lesson. Do not fight with strength alone. Use timing. Use the other's movement. He took a deep breath, walked to the center, and motioned for Kor to come closer. Kor moved with care. He did not raise his weapon. He simply lifted one arm like before. Tom showed him how he had stepped, how he had twisted his body, and how the move had stopped the strike. Kor watched carefully, his eyes serious. The other warriors circled around. A few even started copying the steps in the dirt, trying the same motion with their partners. By the end of the day, the training ground looked different. Warriors who had always trained with power now asked questions about balance and timing. Kor stayed close to Tom. Watching his every move, Tom had come to fix tools and carry supplies. Now he was in the center of something new. As the sun started to set and the silver trees turned dark, Tom sat on a rock and looked at his hands. He didn't plan any of this. He had moved without thinking, and now a warrior race wanted him to teach. The next morning, Tom woke up early. He stretched his arms and looked around the small room the Varnik had given him. It was made of smooth stone, with a soft mat on the floor and a small table near the wall. The sun was already rising, casting a warm red glow through the open window. Tom could hear the sounds of the training ground in the distance. He washed his face and stepped outside. The air was fresh, tall silver trees swayed gently, and birds with long wings flew overhead. It was peaceful, but Tom's mind was full of questions. He was still thinking about what happened the day before. Kor had asked him to teach. And not just Kor. Others had watched closely too. Warriors who had never seen a human move like that before. Tom walked toward the training ground. As he reached the edge, he saw Kor waiting for him. The tall warrior stood with his arms crossed, his long weapon resting on the ground beside him. He looked serious, but his eyes were calm. "You came," Kor said. Tom nodded. "I said I would try." Kor gave a short bow. "I'm ready to learn." Tom felt nervous. He was just an ordinary person. He had no special training, but Kor believed in him. That belief gave Tom a little strength. "Okay," Tom said. "Let's begin." They stood in the center of the training ground. Dust rose around their feet as they moved. Tom started with the basics. He showed Kor how to stand with balance, feet apart, knees soft, body relaxed. Kor copied him, slow at first, then, with more confidence. "Now shift your weight," Tom said. "Left to right. Keep your eyes forward." Kor followed every step. His large body moved carefully. Tom saw how serious Kor was. He didn't rush. He didn't question. He listened and practiced. As they trained, other warriors began to gather. Some sat on nearby rocks. Others stood with their arms crossed. They didn't laugh this time. They watched in silence. Tom showed Kor how to move in a circle without losing balance. He explained how small movements could stop big ones. Kor nodded, repeating each move again and again. Tom smiled a little. "You're doing well." Kor looked at him with deep respect. "You see things we do not. Your people move with purpose, not only power." Tom looked around. "Where I'm from, we're not always the strongest, so we learn to be smart. We learn how to move." One of the watching warriors stepped forward. Her name was Lena. She was tall like the others, but moved with more grace. Her armor was lighter, and her eyes were sharp. "What is the name of this style?" Lena asked. Tom thought for a moment. "It doesn't have a name. I just learned it back home. Self-defense. Move fast, stay calm, use the other's strength." Lena nodded. "It is different, but it feels right." Kor looked at her. "Will you join us?" Lena stepped into the circle. She didn't say anything more, but she stood beside Kor and began copying the movements. Soon, 3 more warriors joined. Then 2 more. In less than an hour, Tom was teaching a small group of Varnik. He felt unsure but kept going. He showed them simple steps: how to block without force, how to turn without falling, how to wait before moving. These were things he had never taught before. But the Varnik listened closely. As the day went on, more warriors came. Some tried the moves quietly in the background. Others asked questions. One asked how to avoid a heavy strike. Another asked how to fight without a weapon. Tom tried to explain in simple words. He showed them how to use the ground, how to stay low, how to breathe. Kor watched him the whole time. When the sun reached the middle of the sky, Kor walked to the side and offered Tom a small drink from a silver bottle. "You are not only a teacher," Kor said. "You are a changer." Tom shook his head. "I didn't mean to change anything." "But you have," Kor said, "and it is good." Tom sat down on a rock. He looked around at the warriors, now moving in quiet patterns, practicing what he had shown. He still couldn't believe it. Just yesterday, he was no one. Now, these powerful beings listened to him with respect. Lena walked over. She sat near him and looked up at the sky. "You are calm," she said. "Our world is loud, full of noise and war. But you bring something new." Tom looked at her. "I think we all have something to learn from each other." Lena didn't smile, but her eyes softened. "Many here are afraid of change, but they will see." Tom stood up. "I hope so." As the sun began to lower, the group slowly left the training ground. Kor stayed behind. He looked at Tom. "Tomorrow," he said, "we train again." Tom nodded. When he walked back to his small room, the stars were already showing in the sky. He sat on the mat, his legs tired, but his heart full. He had not planned this. He didn't know what tomorrow would bring, but he felt ready. On a world far from Earth, among a people known for war, a new path had begun, and it all started with one simple move. The sun rose over the Varnik city, casting soft red light on the stone buildings and wide training fields. Tom walked slowly toward the same training ground where everything had started. He carried nothing but a small water flask and a calm mind. He was still surprised by how quickly things were changing. When he arrived, Kor was already there. Standing straight with his arms behind his back, a group of warriors stood beside him. They were quiet, waiting. Tom looked around and counted. Nearly 15 Varnik warriors. Some he had seen before, others were new. One of them was Lena. She nodded once at Tom but said nothing. Tom stepped into the center. "Good morning," he said. No one replied with words, but many nodded. "We'll begin with movement." Tom said, "No weapons, just steps. You need balance before you fight." He showed them a simple footwork drill. Move forward, move back, turn to the side, keep your center, breathe steady. The warriors followed in silence. Their heavy bodies moved with care. Dust rose from the ground, but no one broke the pattern. Tom moved between them, checking their steps. He gently corrected a few stances. He told Kor to lower his knees a little. He asked Lena to slow her turn. No one complained. They listened. After footwork, Tom taught them a blocking move. It was small and quick. Use the hands to guide, not stop. Let the enemy's force go past you. Do not fight it with power. Use it. Some struggled. Others caught on fast. Kor learned with great focus. He repeated the same motion again and again. Lena was smooth, her hands fast and sharp. Tom watched her carefully. She had a quiet strength. More warriors came to watch. They stood at the edge of the training ground, arms crossed, saying nothing. Some looked interested. Others looked unsure. But no one walked away. Tom took a break near a tree. He drank water and looked around. A younger warrior came and sat near him. His name was Jarn. He had bright eyes and carried no weapon. "Why do you move like that?" Jarn asked. Tom smiled. "It's how I learned back home. I'm not strong, like you, so I use timing and space." Jarn nodded slowly. "It feels strange, but it works." Tom looked out at the training ground. Kor was helping another warrior with the footwork. Lena showed the blocking move to two others. The training had become something new. Not just Tom teaching. They were teaching each other now. The Varnik Council watched too. From a tall platform near the stone towers, two elders stood and looked down. Their faces were unreadable. They spoke no words, but their eyes followed every step. By the afternoon, the warriors were breathing hard. Sweat covered their arms. Still, they trained. Still, they moved. Tom called for a rest. Everyone sat in the shade. He sat with Kor and Lena. "You learn fast," Tom said to both of them. Kor nodded. "Your way is not easy, but it feels right." Lena looked at the horizon. "We were always told that strength is everything, but now I see that calm is also strong." Tom looked at her. "Where I come from, many people think the same. Some don't, but I believe balance is the best way." They sat in silence for a moment. The wind passed gently through the trees. A bird called in the distance. Later that day, Tom decided to teach something new. He showed them a simple turning defense. When the enemy strikes from the side, turn your body, use the step. To move out of the path, guide, don't stop. The warriors tried it, over and over. Kor was fast. Lena was smoother than before. Even Jarn started to move with confidence. As the lesson ended, Kor stepped forward. Tomorrow. We try it with wooden sticks, he said. Tom hesitated. That's a big step. Are you sure? We must try, Kor said. We must feel the flow. In battle form, Tom agreed. He trusted Kor, and he saw how serious the warriors were. They were ready. That night, Tom sat alone in his small room. The stars were bright outside the window. He thought about the day, how they had moved, how they had learned, how the Varnok were starting to change. But he also felt a small worry inside. He remembered the faces of the council elders. They had watched everything but said nothing. Their eyes were sharp. Their silence was heavy. He lay down and closed his eyes. His body was tired, but his mind was full. The next day would bring new tests, real movement with real strength, and more eyes would be watching. The sun had just started to rise when Tom stepped onto the training ground again. A soft red glow covered the wide open field. Today felt different. The air was still, as if something was about to happen. Tom took a deep breath and looked around. He saw wooden training sticks stacked near the center. They had been placed there by Kor, ready for a new kind of lesson. The warriors began to arrive one by one. Kor was first, carrying two long wooden sticks over his shoulder. He nodded to Tom and placed the sticks down with care. Then came Lena, quiet and focused as always. Others followed: Jarn, Mira, Tak, and nearly a dozen more. Most had trained with Tom for a few days now. Their movements had improved. They were starting to trust this new way. Tom picked up one of the sticks. It was light but strong. The idea of using weapons made him nervous. He was not a fighter, and he had never trained others to fight. But he knew this step was important. For the Varnok, they needed to see how their strength could work with balance and timing. We will try something new today, Tom said as the warriors gathered. Use these sticks the same way we practice with our hands. Watch, feel, move. He stepped forward and faced Kor. Kor raised his stick and stood in the basic position Tom had shown him earlier. They circled each other slowly. Tom moved first. He stepped forward with a quick swing, and Kor responded just as they had practiced. He turned, blocked gently, and used Tom's movement to guide the stick away. The crowd nodded quietly. No loud cheers, no noise. Just respect. Lena stepped forward next. She faced Tak, a bigger warrior with thick arms and fast strikes. Tom watched closely as they moved. Lena was calm and focused. Tak attacked quickly, but Lena avoided each strike with smooth turns. At one point, she tapped his arm with the end of her stick, a perfect move that ended the round. Tom smiled. The lessons were working, but not everyone was pleased. A voice called out from the back of the group. It was deep and sharp. The warriors turned as one of their own stepped forward. He was taller than Kor, with rough scars across his arms and face. His name was Ral. He was known for his strength and pride. He had not joined the lessons until now. This is not the way of the Varnok, Ral said. We are warriors, not dancers. Kor stepped forward. You were not here. You did not see what we have learned. Ral pointed at Tom. He is not one of us. He does not carry the fire of battle. You follow a weak path. Tom felt the weight of those words, but he said nothing. He knew it was not his place to argue. Kor took a step closer to Ral. Then challenge me. Let us see whose path is stronger. The air went quiet. Everyone watched. Ral smiled. I accept. Tom looked at Kor. Are you sure? Kor nodded. This must happen. The warriors formed a wide circle around them. Two sticks were placed in the center. Kor and Ral stepped forward and took their weapons. They stood tall, facing each other. Their eyes locked. No words were needed. Tom moved to the edge of the circle. He felt nervous. Kor had trained hard, but Ral was a strong fighter. Tom hoped the lessons would help. The match began. Ral moved first, fast and heavy. His strikes were full of force. Kor stepped back. using the movements Tom had taught him. He turned his body, blocked without force, and stayed unbalanced, but Raoul kept coming. Each strike was faster than the last. Tom held his breath. Core looked calm, but he was being pushed back. Then, something changed. Core waited. Just before the next strike, he stepped forward instead of back. He guided Raoul's stick away with a quick twist and stepped around him. Raoul turned, confused. Core struck once. A clean tap to the side of Raoul's shoulder. The crowd gasped. Raoul stepped back, breathing hard. He looked at Core with surprise. KO lowered his stick. You are strong, Raoul. But strength alone is not enough. Raoul stood in silence. Then he dropped his stick and gave a small nod. He walked away without another word. Tom stepped into the circle. He looked at Core. That was perfect. Core smiled slightly. You taught me. The other warriors began to cheer softly. It was not loud, but it was enough. They had seen what Tom's way could do. They had seen that calm could match power. Lena walked over to Tom. Today you proved something. They will not doubt so easily again. Tom looked around at the faces watching him. He didn't feel proud. He felt thankful. The warriors had opened their minds. They had trusted him. But in the distance, near the council tower, the elders watched with serious faces. They had seen the match. They had seen the change. And they were not smiling. The training ground was quiet in the early morning. Tom arrived early, the air cool and fresh. He carried a small bag with water and some simple supplies. Today was important. Word of the match between Core and Raoul had spread quickly. Many warriors came to watch the next training session. Some looked curious, others still held doubt. Core was waiting for Tom. His tall figure stood proud but calm. He greeted Tom with a nod. Lena and several others stood nearby, ready to begin. Tom felt the weight of their eyes on him. They looked not just for new moves, but for hope. Today, we will practice real sparring, Tom said. Use what you have learned. Stay calm and watch your opponent. The warriors picked up wooden sticks again. Tom showed them how to hold the stick firmly but not too tight. He reminded them to keep balance and use small movements to defend and attack. Core faced a new opponent this time, a warrior named Mira, strong and fast. The fight began with quick strikes from both sides. Core moved with patience, blocking and stepping as Tom had taught. Mira was good, but Core used timing to avoid heavy blows. Suddenly, Core found an opening. He stepped forward, tapped Mira's side gently with his stick, and pulled back. The crowd watched silently, surprised at the skill. Mira smiled and nodded. You are learning well, she said. Tom smiled too. The warriors were beginning to see the value in patience and skill, not just raw power. More matches followed. Lena fought Jarn, moving like a shadow, avoiding strikes and countering quickly. Others learned to keep calm even when attacked hard. As the day passed, something changed. The warriors who had been doubtful now practiced harder. They asked Tom questions. They tried the new moves again and again, but not all were happy. In the middle of the training ground, Raoul stood watching with folded arms. He still had the old fire in his eyes. He walked up to Core after the matches. You have changed, Raoul said. But will you still fight like a true Varnik when needed? Core looked at Raoul steadily. I fight with strength and with mind. That is the new way. Raoul smiled a little. Then fight me again. Core accepted without fear. This time the crowd gathered closer. The two warriors faced each other with sticks ready. The match was fierce. Raoul used fast, heavy blows. Core moved carefully, blocking and guiding. The fight was longer than before. Neither gave up. At one point, Core slipped but quickly recovered. He saw Raoul's next move before it came, using a fast turn. Core blocked and tapped Raoul's arm. The crowd gasped. Raoul stepped back and laughed. You have learned well, Core. Your path is strong. Core lowered his stick and nodded. The other warriors began to cheer loudly. They saw that human ways had made a difference. Tom stood at the edge, watching quietly. He felt proud but also humble. He was just a simple man from Earth. Yet here he was, helping a warrior race find new strength. Later, as the sun began to set, Cor and Lena came to Tom. "Thank you," Cor said. "You opened our eyes." Lena smiled. "Many will listen now. You have changed more than just moves." Tom looked up at the sky, feeling a new hope. "We all learn from each other." But far away, on a high stone tower, the council elders watched with serious faces. They whispered to each other. Change was coming to their world. They were not sure if it was good or bad. For now, the warriors cheered and trained. Tomorrow was another day, another chance to grow stronger in new ways, and Tom was ready to teach. The next day was quiet but full of tension. Tom woke early again and looked out his window. The sky was clear, with pale sunlight falling on the stone walls of the city. Today, he knew, would bring important news. He made his way to the training ground as usual. Cor and Lena were already there, waiting. Other warriors had gathered too. But there was something different in the air. The usual energy of learning and practice felt mixed with concern. Suddenly, a group of armored Varnik appeared at the edge of the field. They moved with authority and purpose. The group included two elders from the council. The elders were tall and wore robes of deep blue. Their faces were serious and unreadable. Tom felt a chill. The council rarely came to the training ground, and never without a reason. The leader of the elders spoke first. "Tom from Earth," he said, his voice deep and clear. "You have taught our warriors new ways. You have changed the old paths." Tom nodded respectfully. "I only shared what I know. I want to help." The elder looked at Cor and Lena. "We see the strength in your new moves. But the old ways are the heart of the Varnik. Change the fast, and our people may lose themselves." Cor stepped forward. "Elders, the new way does not replace strength. It adds to it. We fight with power and mind." The elder's eyes narrowed. "Your words are bold, Cor, but the council warns too much change brings risk. We ask you to stop teaching these new ways." Tom felt his heart beat faster. "Stop? But the warriors have learned much. They have grown stronger." Another elder spoke. "Strength comes from tradition, from the fire of battle that has always burned in the Varnik. We cannot let that die." Lena looked at the elders, then at Tom. Her voice was calm but firm. "Our world changes. If we refuse to grow, we fall behind. We must learn to be strong in new ways." The elders whispered among themselves. The leader turned back to Tom. "We will allow limited teaching, but under council watch. You must follow their rules." Tom bowed his head. "I understand, Cor." And Lena nodded as well. The decision was clear. The council was afraid of losing control, but they also saw the need for new strength. After the elders left, the warriors gathered close. "We will keep teaching," Cor said, "but carefully. We will honor the old ways and the new." Tom looked around. The warriors were determined. They would not stop learning. Not now. Later. Tom sat with Cor and Lena under the silver trees. The wind was soft, and the sky turned orange as the suns began to set. "Do you think the elders will accept this?" Tom asked. Cor looked up at the sky. "They fear change. But we will show them that strength can grow in many forms." Lena smiled. "We are starting something new. It will take time. But one day, all Varnik will move like this." Tom felt hope rise inside him. He had come from a small world, but here he was, part of something bigger. "We will face challenges," Tom said, "but together, we are stronger." Cor and Lena nodded. The three of them sat quietly, watching the stars appear. The future was uncertain, but they were ready to meet it. The morning light spread slowly over the Varnik city. Tom stood once again on the training ground. This time, it was full of warriors. They moved quietly, but with purpose. Cor and Lena were at the front, leading the group. Tom felt a strong sense of pride. The journey that had started with a simple move had grown into something much bigger. The council's watch was still there. A few elders stood at the edges, their eyes watching carefully. But they said nothing. Change had begun, and it was harder to stop. Tom looked around and saw faces full of hope. The young warriors learned not just to fight, but to think. They moved with balance, timing, and calm. The old ways of strength and power mixed with new ideas. Cor came to Tom's side. Our people have begun to change. They see that strength is more than just force. Lena smiled. We have created a new style, a way that will protect our world and our future. Tom nodded. I never expected this. I came here as a helper, but now I feel like part of your world. Core looked at Tom with respect. You are more than a helper. You are a teacher and a friend. The training went on all day. Warriors sparred with wooden sticks and practiced new moves. Tom taught the importance of watching the enemy, staying calm, and using smart steps. Core and Lena helped others, sharing what they learned out at sunset. The group gathered near a large fire. Warriors sat in circles, talking quietly. Tom sat beside Core and Lena. The firelight flickered across their faces. Core spoke softly. We will tell the council that this new path is strong. We will ask for their trust. Lena added, we will. Show them that honor is still with us, strength with wisdom. Tom looked at the stars above. He thought about Earth, his home. He missed it sometimes, but felt grateful for this new family. Core placed a hand on Tom's shoulder. You moved without thinking that day, but your move changed everything. You showed us new strength. Tom smiled. It was not just my move. It was all of us. Together, we will be stronger. The future was unknown, but the bond between two worlds was clear. Tom, a human from Earth, had brought new hope to the Varnic. They had learned that strength comes in many forms: power, patience, and the courage to change. As the fire burned bright, Tom looked at his new friends and felt peace. The journey had been unexpected, but it was his true path. He was ready for whatever came next.